Hey everyone, it's Rachel from Healing Your Stories. I help entrepreneurs release any self-confidence, self-belief blocks so that they can become unstoppable in their life and in their business. How wonderful does that sound? So today we're talking self-esteem, because quite honestly, if you're running a business and you have low self-esteem, even if you're not particularly aware of it, you're gonna find it really hard. Because there's so many haters out there. Maybe not haters is a bit of a strong word. There's so many people who aren't on your side to want to see you succeed. There are so many people who want to criticize you, who think they know better, who have opinions, who think that actually they have a right to voice those opinions to you just because actually you're doing your thing and you're showing up. And the bigger you get, I hate to say this to you, the bigger those opinions from other people become. So you better damn well dig deep into your self-esteem and into your blocks and into your confidence to bolster yourself up, because if you want a big business or a big business, you have to get bigger first. All right, that's the preamble. Self-esteem, where does it come from? So yesterday we talked about intrinsic value and worth, two separate things. So the intrinsic value is what you're born with. That doesn't ever change. However much you do or don't do in the world, if you do good, if you do bad, if you do indifferent, it doesn't ever change. You have the same value on a soul level, on a universal level, as someone else in the world. That is very different from worth. So worth is to do with how much you bring to the world, how much you put yourself out there, how much good work you do. Now that fluctuates. That fluctuates depending on who's judging it, who's out there, who wants your work, who appreciates your work. And I did a blog a couple of weeks ago about people who just didn't get any recognition in their lifetime at all. People that you wouldn't think of. The musician Bach just wasn't appreciated in his lifetime. Van Gogh he sold one painting in his whole lifetime. Who else? Galileo. Oh my God, Galileo almost got persecuted because his views were like 200 years ahead of himself, ahead of his time. So what I'm saying is that worth is very dependent on the audience, on whether you're in front of the right audience, whether it's the right time, whether they want what you've got, all of those things. Now, if you pin your self-esteem on the worth that other people feel that you're bringing to the world, as in you're putting your work out there and it's being judged, it's always being judged by other people. And what you need to get used to is judging it from yourself rather than from other people. If you put your self-esteem based on that, you're in for a roller coaster. It's gonna be hard because your worth changes. It changes, as I've just said, depending on who's out there looking at your work. If you base your self-esteem on this other intrinsic value, and if you don't understand what I'm talking about, watch the video from yesterday. This intrinsic value that we're all born with, it doesn't change. It's a static thing. And in my view of the world, actually we all get recycled, and we go back to soul kingdom, soul heaven, whatever it is. We get recycled, we learn our lessons, we come back again, but our intrinsic value stays the same as other people's. So don't confuse your self-esteem with worth, with what other people feel you're worth, and even what you feel is your worth in terms of your work. And I don't want you to start judging yourself that your work is better than someone else's or worse than someone else's. It is what it is. As long as you're in that authentic self place, you cannot go wrong. And when you judge your self-esteem on this intrinsic value that we all have, your self-esteem is going to stay really level, and it's going to allow you to put your work out there in a really solid, confident way, because it's coming from inside of you. It can't be wrong. We're all divine creatures. You cannot be wrong. So that's all I wanted to say on self-esteem. Obviously, the way that I deal with self-esteem, there are lots of ways to boost your self-esteem, from doing appreciation journals to gratitude journals to what you like about yourself to affirmations. I clear the underlying energy. So I would go back in time in a virtual reality space that we create together in our sessions. I would go back to the time where you were criticized in school, where you were humiliated, where you were bullied, where you felt less confident, where you thought you'd put something really good into the world. Maybe you'd written a story and you'd presented it to the class and the class laughed. Whew, that isn't even my story, and I can feel the power of that. So we go back in time and we clear all of those things that have affected your self-esteem and your confidence along the way over the years, because we all hold that energy inside of us. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Although it's me speaking, it doesn't have to be a one-way conversation. So if you've got comments, if you've got things you want to add, if you've got questions, if you don't agree with me, my self-esteem is pretty high. All right, forget that word pretty. It's a word I use a lot and it doesn't really mean anything. My self-esteem is high. I can take criticism. I can take opinions. So put them in the chat. That's absolutely fine by me. And I hope to catch you on the next video. Take care. Take care. Have a good day. Oh, it's raining. Never mind. It's okay.